a legit tornado. Like, and when I got to the bottom of the tree, I took off and I still was attached to the lifeline.
Yes.
I was not even thinking.
Yeah.
Like I grabbed it, I took off running, and was like, whoa! I went backwards, and I had to.
The tornado's sucking me in.
It's really, we're one of the only kind of industries that has a dedicated channel where it feeds people's egos, in my opinion.
Outdoor channel, you pay to be on TV.
You know, you sit down and you look at that and say, man, what do I have to offer somebody up here that I can, you know, share with the world? It's my opinion, and that education sets you apart, because entertainment is saturated, right? Everybody's out there entertaining.
And so when they trust you for information and education, now you can lean on them and you can actually leverage selling them something.
All right, so now if you had to say one thing about the outdoor industry over the past, you've been in it for a long time. So let's say for the past 10 years, the outdoor industry, how has it changed the most in your eyes? Like over the years, I mean, you've been in it for a long time. So what would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I was in it when we were doing it on tapes. So let's be honest, I've been in it for a long ass time. Man, it's changed drastically. It's become more of a business than it was when I started. I think people treat it that way too, from the hunting to the products to it's just product. It's just become a business that I don't know, man. It's going, in my opinion, it's going south. It's going in the wrong direction. So, like, personal opinion.
Yeah, and that's kind of what actually you led into that perfectly. Is what I was going to try to dive into. Is like, well, for one, when someone's looking at the outdoor industry from the outside and, like, you know, watching you guys on television, watching these shows, watching you on, well, now it's YouTube or whatever platform. It comes across as very businessy because, you know, each person has their own product that they're supposed to push because they're getting paid to do that. But what they don't realize is when I was working with you guys, I found what shed light on was, like, you guys are you're not just trying to hunt every day, but you are, but you're also you're literally, hunting is business. And,
Yep.
You know, you have products, you have to push those products because that's what puts food on the table for your family. So I think a lot of people from the outside, like, kind of see that and, like, oh no, they're just pushing product to get paid. But, like, yeah, you guys are. So how do you, through the years, like, how have you, like, you know, I guess, you know, embrace that, and, like, how do you work with that on with partners?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think at the end of the day, people always look at, like, I think the television side of things got a bad rap in the beginning. Like, people go, oh, they're television hunters. But in reality, the people that came into this that way started it as, like, they just were recording their hunts and having a good time. And it turned into a business. The outdoor industry as itself as a whole turned into a business. And some of us were lucky enough to be at the beginning of something special that when, you know, back in the day, it was like, whoa, you could be on television, you can make money and hunt. And that's really why we did it. We didn't do it to, like, we're going to build these massive companies. We did it because it paid for our hunting. Like, it paid for our passion. And so I think the outdoor industry has kind of evolved over time. And so you're right. I mean, for us, it was about trying to figure out the story. It wasn't just about hunting. It was about the story. It was about the partnerships. It was about how can we turn this into a business? How can we navigate this? And the bottom line is I think what Casey and I realized back when we started in this was in X amount of years. So I'm now 46 years old. I started in this industry at 28 or something, right? And we kind of said at 46 to 55, are we still going to be doing outdoor television? Or do we want to build a business in the background that can support regardless of what we're doing, but it's in the industry that we love? And that's really what our focus was the whole time, especially with partners, navigating those kind of, you know, those worlds. And it's definitely been ups and downs. There's no doubt about it because of the shift in all the industry from, venture capital to, consolidation to all these different things that have happened over the years, distribution being probably one of the biggest shifts right now in our industry, and everybody trying to figure that out. It's just it's crazy how but we're behind. Our industry is really behind. If you look at some of the other industries, and we can get into that later on if you want, but like our industry is massively behind. Hunting is like always 8 to 10 years on trend. It's kind of crazy that we're that far behind. So
can you give me a couple of examples of of the trends that we're behind? Like what?
Yeah. So if you look at the outdoor industry, like it started out right where it was like you had like catalogs, right? Destination retail, trade shows, like, you know what I mean? Like those types of things. And then e-commerce, right? Yeah. So everybody was like, we have to go to the trade shows. We got to go to the trade shows. But like, if you look at other industries, like let's look at fitness industry, or you look at the, food industry, or you look at anything else, like they blew past that a long time ago, right? They were in e-commerce. They were looking at digital. They're looking at like different distribution. And it's like, we're one of the only kind of industries that has a dedicated channel where it feeds people's egos, in my opinion. Right. So yeah, I think that's like the number one. Like I have seen over the years, I have seen people mortgage their house to be on television to pay their airtime. Right. And so it's like, why is that the case? And it's because there's only one model in our industry and it's broken.
And yeah, so to touch on that point is like when people watch the outdoor channel, like hunters on the outdoor channel are literally paying to be on the outdoor channel. So which is completely reversed from, your every single other channel. Like you look at, so, I've worked with you guys were on the travel channel. They paid you to be on the travel channel. Outdoor channel, you pay to be on TV. And it's not, I would not consider that a cheap fee either.
No, the airtime fee is not there. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. And again, that just goes to being behind, right? I think a lot of people don't realize that producers on the outdoor channel pay for inventory in the sportsman channel. And I don't want to just single out outdoor channel. First of all, I work with them, right? It's a business. I work with them. We work with them on original content. So we went to them in 2010. We flipped the script with Dropped and asked them the same thing. Said, let's work together on this and make it an original series. And so, yeah, I've seen people that are like, I'm sorry, I can't do X because I have to pay my airtime. And it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense at all to me as a business. Like you would not do that in regular business in this world. Like you would not go out and buy something that put you in a position where you weren't being able to pay it. But in the outdoor industry, people would be like, but I'm on TV. And it's just like, that was never my first, or Casey or any of it. That was never our first thought, is like, we're on TV. That was a means to be able to build a business, but it was not like, well, check it out, I'm on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m.
But
like that didn't.
Yeah, as I say, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. When you guys started to be on television, what was it on the outdoor channel? Or were you on the what was it, TNT? Was it?
Yeah, no, I was. I
think it was.
It wasn't TNT.
It
wasn't TNT, please.
That's what I laughed. He says TNT.
What was it called?
Okay, no, but it was. So I was right there in that era. So I am going to date myself. So yeah, originally, the TNT and the outdoor, and I grew up watching that stuff, right? I grew up watching TNT. This was back, you had Babe Winkleman fishing every morning and Bill Dance and Saturday. Like I watched that. I was dedicated to that. But no, when we first broke in, there was a divide in outdoor. So what you had was outdoor channel was kind of the new upcoming largest ship that was out there. And then you had the Man channel, you had Sportsman channel, and you had Pursuit channel, and you had like Versus at the time. Yeah. If you guys ever remember that there was Versus. So these and what happened is, in order to get the distribution for a partner, you had to be on all of them. So we were like buying airtime on Versus. We were working a deal, over on Sportsman channel. We were also getting things on Wild TV in Canada, because you had to consolidate a bunch of these networks to get the numbers so that you could get your sponsorship levels to where they needed to go, because otherwise they each as in their own didn't have enough distribution. And the crazy part is now in this day and age, I could post a reel and probably come up with the same amount of distribution that I had back when we were paying for all those eyeballs on airtime, you know, back in the day. It's just wild that that's the shift that's happened since we started. But yeah, you had to diversify across everything.
And so that's what, like when you look at sponsors again, like that's what, are they looking at that more like your reels and your self, I guess you would call it self promotion more than anything else?
Yeah. I mean, I think a couple things have happened. A commercial used to be the currency in which a show did deals, right? So it was, I'm going to sit down with you. I'm going to offer you a 30-second commercial in exchange for X amount of dollars. That was our currency in which we dealt. The people that are ahead of the game right now, the producers that are doing stuff, it's a part of, right? But it's not even, it's like the last line item on the list now, if at all, if it's even there. Right. A lot of the partners are looking for social numbers, custom content, creator stuff. They want assets now, the smart ones, in my opinion, the smart partners, the people that are doing their marketing right. They're looking at it saying, what can you give me above and beyond? Now, you're always going to have your 30-second commercial, no question. There's a time and a place for it, but it just has switched, I mean, completely, where it used to be the first line item on the list, and there was a competition back in the day of primetime television, who was going to get the 7 over 7:30 spot on a Tuesday during the big game hunting block. That was a big thing, right? And there was competition between shows, you know, and it was like, oh, I can't believe X show got that over us. We should be there now. Next year, I want to move into that slot. That was it, right? And then you could go into that sponsor and say, hey, I've got a 30-second spot at this time on the big game block. That was worth value. Now the last conversation that we have is someone will say, are you guys on TV? Like that's kind of where it shifted. And it's like, oh yeah, we are, but like, this is where it's at. So we've really diversified from our side. We have kind of all of the layers right now, from television, which is dropped. That's our show that's on Outdoor Channel, original series with them. We work with them in a way that brings the biggest, baddest episodes to their network, and we love working with them on that front. Then we got social media in the middle, and then, you know, we can get into later if you want, we've started our own app and our own distribution, and that's been kind of like our third layer. And I think that's the exciting part about the future, is you have control over that.
Yeah.
So the future, like this is it's funny to watch now. I guess I'm like in the industry, but out of the industry in a way right now. But like you watch, like, so like big names right now seems to be like the younger generation is moving in. It's YouTube guys, YouTube personalities, you know, like you, Drury's, Lee and Tiffany, like that. Those names will always be there. They're like the OGs of the industry. That's when the outdoor industry was in its absolute prime. Now you got this YouTube influx coming in. So like, where do you think it goes with them from there in the future? Like, do you think all these guys are just posting YouTube videos? Like, are they prepared for the future?
Yeah. So this is such an interesting story. And again, it's kind of like everybody has an opinion. This is mine, right? So right or wrong or whatever anybody may say, this is kind of my opinion. Is going back to what I was saying earlier about how the industry is behind. I think the people that will win moving forward, you know, like you said, there's OGs. And the fact that you even put my name in the OGs category is great.
I wasn't calling you old again.
He just called you old. Are you kidding me?
He does. I mean, I get it.
Jeez.
He has a specific nickname for me for a reason, but no, what I'm saying is, like, to be a part of that group is special, right? Because, and so I consider myself honored to even be in the same names as what you mentioned, Drury and Lee and Tiff. And I mean, they just do it. And I think why they are so amazing is they just do what they do best, and they don't veer ever. Like The Drury's are the baddest whitetail killers on the planet for the biggest deer. They do the best with their properties. They know what they're doing. They just stay there. And Lee is probably one of the best, if not the best whitetail hunter I've ever had.
You're talking about me, right? No, right?
Yeah, you, not Lacoste. But I think where Casey and I have carved a niche out is kind of this in between. Like, yes, we whitetail hunt. Yes, we love to kill big whitetail. We put a lot of work in with the management, but for us, it really is leaning into the drop side of things and leaning into the backcountry and leaning into kind of that guiding mentality. It's a little bit different. We love to whitetail hunt. We love to do all that. But I think the people that have just stayed in the lane and just continued to do the same thing and add as they go, you're seeing those names stick around and continue to build and gain more. Now, when you talk about new people coming in, you're right. I mean, there's some incredible brands like Seek One is amazing what they're doing on YouTube, and you've got the Hunting Public, and there's a big boom inside of that because of what they've created. And what they did is they reached people where the distribution is today. That's what's happened, right? So that is that next boom of Outdoor Channel, Man Channel versus Sportsman is now digital. It's YouTube. And that's what's happening is the younger generation, that's where the eyeballs are. The eyeballs are on those platforms. And that's why you're seeing that success come from them. The question that I have with all of that and people that are trying to make the shift, and this is where we sat down and looked at it, is for us to go put a lot of dollar and effort into production for something that would go to YouTube in hopes of you can't monetize it, but you're hoping like you can, like dropped monetizes on YouTube, but to be able to sit there and say, oh, I made $100 this month on my clicks is not justifying the fact that we have to go shoot a production that could cost thousands of dollars, right? And so I guess the question that I have is, we are in this research and duplicate. So what's the outcome that everybody's looking for on YouTube? And I'll back up for just a second. When I say research and duplicate, it's like somebody started a YouTube trend. Now everybody's going to jump to YouTube in hopes to have that same success that those original shows on YouTube are having, right? And some will make that jump because they'll put out that content and they'll be good at it. But at the end of the day, you're hoping for more views to get more dollar. It's really no different than Tuesday night at 7:30 on the block. I have the distribution. I'm charging this amount of money. And so for us, I think what it was is in this day and age, you have the ability to own your own content, right? To own your own distribution. There's nothing stopping anybody from what's available from a technology side. And so we looked at that, and that's the direction that we started to lean. Now, that's going to take time and effort and dollar and shift. And it's not an easy shift to be able to say, we have enough value here to come in, and we'd love for you to pay for, a small subscription with us. And then we're going to serve you as an audience, our kind of entertainment, because entertainment is free, but education is a totally different ballgame. And so I think you have to mix it up. It's not just about entertainment anymore. It's not just about being on, YouTube and walking into your partner and saying, I'm on YouTube, you pay me this much, I have 16,000 subscribers. Well, everybody does now. Like everybody's got subscribers because it's kind of a free market. It's about what are you doing for your specific consumer that's making sense, that allows them to say, man, I'm in. I'm gonna buy, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be loyal. And I think that's the next phase of the outdoor that needs to happen.
Interesting. I was diving into a little bit of one of my buddies owns a media network of radio stations, and their big switch from a marketing dollars. And so I just wanted to get your perspective on this. Their big switch from marketing dollars, and hearing that, how many people, the draw, the pull that a podcaster has to sell something, he was putting up all these statistics like, if a podcaster says, buy this,
look at Joe Rogan.
Yeah, or the Kelsey or whatever. Kelsey's making more money on his podcast than he ever made playing football. Like that stuff is crazy. You know what I mean? Because he's signing huge deals for that and he's getting destroyed on a football field, and yet he can go and talk and make that kind of money. You know what I mean? And so that shift. So my question is like, as you look at that and becoming that personality that the people want to just receive information from. And like what you said earlier, what I heard you say was, entertainment is one thing, but when you can educate is a whole nother piece of this pie. And so when they trust you for information and education, now you can lean on them and you can actually leverage selling them something, because they're gonna trust you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think you look at some of these big guys, Joe Rogan and all the big massive podcasts that started this. Those are entertainment podcasts because they're in the entertainment industry, right? Like the Kelsey brothers are entertaining brothers that play NFL football. So it starts there and then boom, they have a platform right away.
Yeah.
If you're just getting started and you're getting out there, like you guys are doing this podcast because it is in all forms, it's marketing for you guys, reality, right?
Yep.
It gives you social clips, it gives you audio clips, it gives you blogs, it's the one form that you can sit down and in 1 hour for the same price, you can get 35 different pieces of content from. And that's the thing is, I think everybody should have a podcast. I think just being out there and you can see now it's being saturated.
Yeah.
Where I think people are going to set themselves apart and where people start to lean into is, to your point, is I have to trust you. I have to have you have to have something that to get those kind of numbers, right? Otherwise it's just marketing, which I believe you should have anyway. Right. And so it's like, you can just have this as pieces of content, or you can try to grow a podcast into a business. And I think that's where, you sit down and you look at that and say, man, what do I have to offer somebody up here that I can, share with the world? It's my opinion. And that education sets you apart because entertainment is saturated, right? Everybody's out there entertaining. So I can laugh. I love Theo Vaughn. I listen to his podcast every time it comes out because I laugh. Right. I don't go to Theo Vaughn for world views, right? I go somewhere else for that. And so it's like, I have my kind of thing, and I'm sure everybody has the same thing. They kind of have their people they go to. And if you become one of those people, then you have a platform you can really, really start to grow on. Right. And we've seen that a lot just in the hunting industry. There's some phenomenal podcasts that are doing a great job because they're just kind of sharing stories and they're becoming the voice or the authority of it. And I think it's really cool to see that there's a new shift in that. Right.
So with back to kind of Lee's question a second ago, what do you see as some of the traps or some of the downfalls from these dudes that are just slanging videos for a period of time? They get all excited about it. They grab their first camera and they're out there and they're running good content. You said consistency. Are you seeing any other traps and downfalls for some of these guys that are just pushing a whole bunch of stuff, being somebody that's been in the industry so long?
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing from that perspective is, there's a lot of Instagram hunters. And the reason I say that is because when I say Instagram hunters, I can see reels and amazing things in 30-second blocks. Okay. In 1 minute blocks. I see it and I'm like, that is an awesome video. And I'm not taking credit away from anybody that's doing that. I question the longevity of that, of what they're building.
Yeah.
Right. You can do it in 1 minute increments, but I guess when I look at it, what are you building in 1 minute increments when it comes to consistency, longevity, education? It's good right now, but at some point everybody's building them in 1 minute increments. And so at some point, that's where that saturation comes in. Right. I think where the people that are setting themselves apart is they're starting to create things and using their Instagram as promotion for the things. And they're using the IG to build a business in the background that people are now starting to go, I saw that so many times. I'm going to go to the website and I'm going to check out the other things that this person has. And when you start to expand your business model like that, I think that's where I think the future is in this. But there is people that have hundreds of thousands of followers based on, just awesome reels. And that is a business in itself. But what's the longevity of that business versus creating stuff behind the scenes and maybe in longer form and, in series and merchandise and experiences and all the other things that come with that, I think is an important part of our future for outdoorsmen.
You said, you said something there, and I'm probably on board with you a lot just because yourself, JB, Casey, you guys are the one who taught me storytelling as a whole. You're the straight out of construction. I went to you guys took the chance and hired me, so I worked with you for 7 years in the production sides, and at that stage, it was all 30-second, 1-minute commercials. But what I really prided myself in, working with you guys is the quality, the production quality. And I feel like you watch so many different, I'll call them influencers in any industry, and the production quality, in my opinion, is going way, way down. But then you look at, I feel like there's going to be a big swing again of like, okay, people are going to be sick of seeing lower production quality, and they're just going to appreciate people that, put the time and effort into a higher production quality and a better story.
Yeah. I think you're 100% correct. We went through a phase in our industry, and I will say I think that's probably what did actually put us even on this map to say that, that we were in the industry was the production quality that we focused on. It's what built the foundation of our business. When we started Dropped, that was the first time that a show on the Outdoor Channel specifically was an arc series where you had to watch every single episode Monday. Every Tuesday you had to tune in to see what happens next week. A lot of the outdoor stuff at that point was I was in Kansas this week, I'm in Illinois that week, I'm in Iowa, and if you missed one, you could just it's like, oh, I'll catch it in the reruns. But when we did Dropped, it was 13 episodes back to back to back to back to back, and it was the only time that had ever been done at that point, right? And the quality of production is what we did focus on. That started a surge, and you have to remember at that point there are people coming in doing the same thing. Like HB was coming in at that same kind of time. They had amazing production quality. Pat and Nicole always have amazing production quality. So it was like it was going up. People were like, oh, I see what I can do. But it also was because of technology, right? I remember getting the first HD camera, right? I remember getting a lens and then watching a show and going, how are they getting that depth of field? Like, we can't get that with our cameras. And then researching that outside of our industry, that happened, right? Then researching and saying, it's called a 5D. And it was like the 5D Mark I was like, it changed production in our industry at that time. It's kind of crazy to think about, but like that gave us flexibility to shoot hunting in a way that had never been shot before. It was blurry in the background. Now you just click a screen and you're blurry right now in the background. Like you just click a button, you know what I mean? And that gave you that look. And so there was a surge of like, how creative can I get and how cinematic can I get? Then I think now in the past couple of years, because of YouTube people, which is good, it didn't need to be that. All it needed to be was entertaining and something that, someone could relate to because of these stupid things in our hands. Everybody now has a video camera. And so it became like stories were being filmed with phones. People were used to seeing that. So you kind of had this loss in it, right? But I agree with you in the fact that there is something to be said about the shift coming back to a little bit more long form, a little bit more storytelling, because that other stuff is happening so fast and is so full. You're just scrolling, right? But there's something about scrolling and seeing something, stopping, turning your phone sideways and being like, I'm going to watch this for 6-7 minutes, right? And it just takes you on a story. It takes you on a journey. So I think that's going to be an important part moving forward. And I would say, if anything, AI is going to give us a little bit of this analog renaissance, right? Because AI is so kind of like all over the map. We're not sure what it's going to do, but it's a powerful tool. But I think there's going to be a bit of an analog renaissance. I think magazine is going to be big again. I think, like picking something physically up and reading it because it's coming from this. That's the part about AI we're not sure of is it AI or is it not AI? And I think what analog does is it gives you that ability to say, like, this person wrote this, I'm going to read it. So I think there's a little bit of that coming back, and that long form cinematic storytelling is part of that, because you're on a journey and it's not just like part of the part of the mess. So
interesting.
Personally.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. I was thinking about that as you're talking there of like, I think it's a little bit of that, again, personal opinion. So like that both and to capture somebody as they're doing the what do they call it? Death scrolling. I don't even, Chris, I'm not on any social media, nothing like that. I just can't, I don't have a big enough brain to handle that. Like, it just can't come in. But like, you see these folks just doing that, just crushing that. But like, like you said, that ability to be there, have information, but then have it to be something that is eye catching enough to slow somebody down, to grab their attention. And I think that's where like I really resonate with what you said, because like that's what's going to catch somebody's eye, and that's actually where the dollars are made, because you've now stopped somebody out of that death scrolling, and you caught their attention long enough, and they'll watch something from. They used to just watch everything for 10 seconds, but if they were watching your content for 7 minutes, holy cow, you're just exponentially higher than every other piece of content out there. So it's pretty. I don't have the creative eye that you gentlemen have, and so like I just kind of look at things like you should see the photos on my phone. Like it is the worst. I can't take a picture to save my life. If a woman hands me a phone and says take a picture, I'm like, please don't.
It's a selfie.
It's so bad. It's so bad. It's not even funny. So I do respect the creative eye completely. So it's awesome stuff. So
Yeah, you touched on something earlier too of like back in the day, it was always, I feel like every whitetail show, I picture, we all look back, we've all watched Realtree, the original monster bucks. You got the VHS or when maybe DVDs. But it was every, segment of that was this guy in this state, here's his kill. Let's move on to the next guy in this state. Here's his kill. I see a big, like now I feel like everything is swinging to, like you just don't see that very often. Everybody has their own piece of property. Everybody is doing the thing to try to grow the biggest deer, shoot the biggest buck. They're not jumping states. Like, yeah, they'll jump states just to get hopes of more content if it's like a $1 state. But like the big swing, I feel like the outfitter jump has gone away in the industry.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. So you go back to Monster Bucks. Probably one of the highlights of my entire career being on the cover of Monster Bucks. Like when I got the cover of Monster Bucks and that DVD came, I was like, what is life right now? Like, am I living in a simulation? Like, I can't believe I'm on the cover of Monster Bucks. Like Realtree, we were partners for them for years, and that was a goal to do. And we hit that goal, and I'm just like, there I am. Right now, I was like 230 pounds, fat neck guy with a goatee.
Nice.
No one recognizes me or even knows I'm on there anymore, but it's all right, no problem. Still 175-inch deer with a drop tine, so it was a solid buck. But that was a highlight of my career. And those guys, they really, back in the day, they changed the industry. David Blanton is one of the salt of the earth guys in the whole world. And that whole crew down there at that time, and they really had something. They thought about it. They said, well, what if every one of our pro staff members that's out there just sends in their biggest bucks? We'll just put it out there and put it on a DVD, and it'll be amazing. And sure enough, it was right. Amazing. And that was back. Yeah. Amazing. I mean, I was the same as you. I mean, I waited, I ordered it, I got it, and we sat down and we watched it. It was 3 hours long. I still watched it. We just sat there and watched kill over kill over kill. And I think you're right. You're seeing a shift from the outfitter model to, I have a piece of ground in Ohio and I'm okay if I only shoot that deer this year. Like if I hunt a deer, but I tell you the story of that deer the whole time. That's what I've been focusing on, is like, we hunted Missouri this year, we hunt Ohio, and we've got, land and ability to hunt in a lot of places, but I spent most of my time on the Ohio farm and telling the story of me chasing, 1 or 2 bucks that are there. And that was success, and it's because of everything that goes into the land now. And that's a huge part of it. I think people are starting to really get into that. And it's interesting to see the shift though, from, back in the day was, what's your hunt budget for the year? How many outfitters are you going to go to? We left, as we would leave like end of August and we just start rolling from state to state to state to state. And you roll in and you hunt. But I think Casey and I have always focused on our own lands, our own leases, our own stories, and like trying to do it ourselves. And I think that's the guides in us that's how we got into the industry. And so it wasn't about using an outfitter. It's always been about what's the story on our land, and how can we make that happen?
That's cool. Did back in the day, were most, like when you watch talk about people on TV, were they paying outfitters, or were the outfitters like asking them to join, or was it a mix in between? How did that really work?
It started with, I think it went in all 3 phases. So it started with an outfitter would let you come because when it was like the Outdoor Channel and you had the views, and it was a destination viewing, right? Like Sunday night, was like Real Trees, Monster Buck Night, let's say, and you were in that block, an outfitter would give you a hunt because you would put up at the end of the show to hunt with X. Here's the phone number. And immediately the phone would start ringing. I mean, immediately. And I was on both sides because I was an outfitter for a long time, and that's how I kind of got started. And then I was also on the other side where we were sending people, and our outfitters would call and be like, I just booked out. So it started that way where they would give you a hunt. Then it was like, hey, why don't we work together? Because, you know, when those distribution numbers started going down and people could start using the internet, it became that it wasn't as much of a, you know, big boost as it was. And so it was like, maybe I'll work with you on a hunt. And then now I think there's a lot of outfitters, and there's some, I'm sure, but a lot of outfitters are, yeah, the price is the price because I can sell it no matter what, right? Like, I think it's like, if you want to come hunt with us. We are the best. We have the biggest deer, the biggest elk, the biggest stuff. You know, pay for it or get in line. You know, I don't think that you offer much more to them because a lot of these big outfitters, the good ones, you know, they are booked out for a couple years. So I think they work with you on that front.
Yeah, I think it's half because for one, like access as a whole has been like dwindled down across every single state. Like if you want to jump states, you either go to public land and get saturated with humans around you, or you have to actually like grind and figure out and pay a lot of money for a lease if you don't own land in that state. So like, I mean, the other day, like, again, reflect on hunting turning into this business. I see the same thing with like all across the board of like, from the outfitter's perspective, like I feel like they don't need the TV personalities, like you said, to come, because if you want to hunt, let's say I want to hunt Iowa. For one, it's going to take me 5 to 6 years to draw a tag there. Most guys, when they draw that 6-year tag, they're like, man, I just spent 6 years putting, I think it's like $100 every year to get a preference point. You're already $600, $500, $600 into this. I don't want to go to state land and just be tromped on by, you know, Jim Bob over here. So like they have to book that outfitter anyways. It's been a fun.
Yeah, in the onset of the internet, in all the websites and finding public land versus state land and all that kind of stuff, and going out there and just really grinding, you know, it has become, like, I joke about it every year trying to go Western elk hunting and stuff like that. I hunt harder sometimes for tags than I do for elk. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bigger challenge to make sure that I secure a tag in a certain state and stuff like that, and playing all the hoops and trying to find them through outfitters, you know, whatever, landowner tags, whatever the case might be. It's a pain in the butt. And so it's like, when you do secure that tag, you're going all in and you're going to go get it. And then, but just at the same time, doing that in that same breath, for my own personal story, it was like, when I got my hands on a small little piece of dirt, it was like, all right, now I'm going to do stuff, because I'm going to build my mousetrap, because all I want to do is suck in deer, because I'm so tired of getting stomped on.
You're heavily invested into it.
Right. And now I got land, and I'm like, but at the same time, that's why I want to encourage people, is like, it is a really good investment, though. At the same time, I don't know any real big investor in the world that doesn't tell you real estate at some point. One prong of their stool, tripod, whatever you want to call it, is always got real estate in it. And so land is always a good thing. And so for hunters, you know, I've reaped the benefits of being able to buy and sell land at the same time of using the resource for my own pleasure and enjoyment to go out there and hunt it. And so that's where it's like, every year, just getting something new, going in there, flipping it, doing all the work, having fun with it at the same time, because you get to see, like, you build a mousetrap, and now you get to learn how they're using it. And so it's like, that is a cool story. But I want to go back to the big bucks real quick, because I just got a whole bunch of DVDs. So if you come across any DVDs, that Kentucky cabin I was telling you about, no internet down there. So we just got the old DVD player. So when there's guys hunting in camp or whatever, those are just constantly rolling. And like, for those environments, hands down, those are like the best things in the entire world. For guys just hanging out, having a couple pops, and those just rolling, like, they just catch your eye. And my boys and I, like, I don't know who it is. We should probably figure out who it is. There's some guy in Canada that it's an outfitter that he films all of his hunts or whatever. But like, my boys, my 3 sons and I, when we watch hunting shows together, we just watch their kill assimilation. All their like that's what we're watching, and they just go from hunt to hunt for all their guys, and they're not a great production show.
Was it Manitoba something?
I don't know. He's up in Canada, but they do a lot. he does a lot of archery hunts. So that's why I like it. And so it's not just like, you know, gun hunt after gun hunt after gun hunt, but it's just fun because it's like 25 minutes and you're probably getting like 15 to, you know, 20 kills in there. And it's just a good time. And like, you know, so I still like that style because that's what I'm going to gravitate towards just because that's like what I grew up
I'm pretty
with.
sure that's how I learned how to rough score deers because like Realtree would show the buck coming in and like awesome like it'd be coming in awesome. My dad would be like, what does he score? So I'd like quick look at his frame. I'm like 125. Awesome. The little score at the bottom or it was after they killed it. They would go up and do the grip and grin and then all of a sudden the score would show up. Yeah. I'm pretty classic.
I think right up here, there's that season 1 DVD of Dropped right there. Look at that. That's actually on DVD. So that'll say how long we've been in this place.
That's awesome.
Hey, at least you beat VHS.
Yeah,
Do you have
I did beat VHS barely, but yeah, I still have it and it sits up on the shelf as a relic right now because it's I think it's the only one left.
Nice.
So.
Let's talk about you getting in the outdoor industry a second. Is like, what was like, I know I can think of many things. Like once, like I started working in the outdoor industry, like it was like oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm meeting this person. Who was that for you? Like your first, like, again, you said you made it on Monster Bucks. That's yeah, I would cry. But like, who is the guy that you like had a phone call with or met in person? Like, I cannot believe I just talked to him. Like I'm in it.
Oh man. There's a couple fun stories in this situation that are pretty funny. When we started out, we were, you know, the trio of myself, Casey, and Jason Brown. Jason Brown is our producer. He's been our producer for years. He's the kind of the wizard on the keyboard, the editor, the behind the scenes, you know, the camera guy. When we first met Jason, you know, he was like, you two do what you do in front of the camera and I'll do what I do behind the camera and we're going to be all right. And I think that's how it started, right?
He was producing, was it A-Way Outdoor or what was
he did A-Way, he was doing Pigman and HB and some other stuff in the very, very beginning. And then once we kind of partnered up and created Rusted Rooster, then, you know, we did, I don't know how many, 12 or 15 shows on the Outdoor Channel at one. I mean, it was like it was kind of crazy at the Roost there for a period of years. As you remember, it was a wild time in the outdoors. We were cranking out all of the marketing materials for like Rage and Faradyne and Tinks, and then doing like 12 Outdoor Channel shows at the same time. Like we had 35 people full-time staff just cranking out like nothing but hunting. And it was like you didn't know what was going to happen. There was a foosball table, Nerf wars. Things were like people were sleeping in the office in the edit bays, but it was like it was the time, man. It was a fun time, no doubt. And so yeah, I think that those days were crazy, but we always thought outside the box. As you know, it's always like, yes, we can do that, but if we did this, it would be something different. So there was a time where Nikon was really big in the hunting industry, and they got out of hunting. And I would say Leupold is like how Nikon is back in the day, right? Leupold's, you see their presence and how amazing they are. Back in the day, that was Nikon, and they had a thing called the Monarch Awards they did every year at the ATA show. And we were a product only beginning television show with Nikon. There was a gentleman by the name of John LaCourte. He called and said, hey, we have these Monarch Awards. We're going to invite you. And what you have to do is put together a highlight reel, you know, of the season. And then we show this video at the awards, and then we give out kind of our awards for that. And there's prize, there's cash prize, there's all this other stuff. And we were like, oh, that'd be cool. Well, we sat down and we're like, do you know who's going to be in that room? And going back to like, we weren't in the industry yet. When I first walked the ATA show floor, I dressed in a suit. The first day I was in a suit. I swear to God, I was wearing a suit and I was like, what am I doing? So the next day I put on a baseball cap and like cowboy boots and, you know, some Affliction jeans, and I was good to go for like
bedazzled.
Yeah, bedazzled jeans. And I was like, I fit right in. It was perfect. But I think we didn't know anybody yet, and nobody knew us, and Dropped was like just about ready to come out. And so it hadn't come out yet. And it was like, okay, let's try to get known in the industry, because everybody's going to be in that room. The pro staff of Nikon at the time was the biggest names in the industry, right? And on television. And so we were like, let's do something. So we actually used, at the time, my wife was working at a doctor's office. We shut the doctor's office down at dark. He gave us the ability to go in there. And then we did a video where we welded binoculars to our faces. Do you remember this, Lee? The video?
I want to start out this entire episode with that. It's a 30-second commercial, right?
Yeah, there's a long version that's like 9 minutes long, and then there's like a 30-second.
Wait a second. You weld? Keep going. I have to hear this.
Yeah, so what we did is we shot a video where Casey and I went in. We met with the doctor, who happened to be my dad, and he was dressed up. And he came in and he looked, and we're like, yeah, we're just having a problem. And we go into the room, and we brought down the lights, and we shot it, again, cinematic. And it looked like they were welded, but what we did is we attached them to the brim of our hats. And we put the hats on. I had 10 by 42 binoculars, and Casey had a rangefinder sticking out of his eye, and it looked like we welded the Nikons to her face. And it was kind of interesting because the end of it is my favorite part. I'm driving away, and I just lock up the brakes, and Casey goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "There's a stop sign." And he ranges it, and he's like, it's 183 yards away. And I'm like, I knew I should have got the 8 by 42s because I could see it in the 10 by 42s. And it was like this weird. So we did this, right? And we put this out there. We go to the Monarch Awards. We have not heard a word. We submitted it, and we're like, oh, no, we haven't heard a word. And so we sit down at the table, and they're playing everybody's videos. And these are like monster elk getting shot, all this other stuff, and we're like, we messed up like bad. Like this
isn't going to be embarrassing.
Up. This is not going to be good. And it was so funny because right at the end, it's all over, and the guy John LaCourte said, "Now we have one more submission, and I've never seen anything as creative in my life. And sit back and enjoy." And he played the entire like 8-minute version of this thing. It was only supposed to be 2 minutes, and we did 8 minutes, right? So everybody in that room, they turned the lights down and they watched this thing. And I'll never forget when that was over, there was like a standing ovation in the room. And I was like, what is happening? And from that moment, that's the first time I ever met Mark and Terry. Mark and Terry came over to me and shook my hand. And that's the first time David Blanton walked over. And he said, "Why are you not with Realtree?" And I said, because we weren't ready yet. And we figured at some point you would see who we are and what we're doing. And so we're just doing our best. And he's like, "Meet me at the booth." And when we left that room, I've never met more people in a period of like 2 days at ATA. And everything that we did started to kick in. Every partner sponsorship, everything started to go. And it was just a wild kind of moment that we just took advantage of. And but I remember the first time those guys came up, that was a shell shock for me that I was sitting there. I grew up watching Mark and Terry and their DVDs. And when they walked up and, they're just like, "I don't know what you just did, but I like it." And it was incredible. And, and then David, I think, was the other one for Realtree. And then to go back to the Realtree booth and meet Bill and then have a long relationship with these guys from that day all the way to today, is just kind of wild, and just so much respect for what they started. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Those were two big ones for me from that day.
Wild. So you gotta tell me, like, where did that creative genius come from? Like, what was the ideas behind that?
I think it's weird, and I say this because I think it's the secret sauce of the three of us.
Okay.
I don't think it's one and or the other.
Yeah.
I think Casey, Jason, and myself all have such strong suits in certain areas. And I think when the three of us get together, the weaknesses of all of us are gone, and the strong suit comes together. That's just my personal opinion. So I think that's where Dropped was blossomed, a little bit of whiskey, and we sit down, and then we're going on a Alaskan backcountry trip. Then we're going 14 days. Then we're going 28 days. Then we finish the whiskey and we're going without food. And then we're going to sell it to the outdoor channel. And it's like, so I think it's just us getting together and brainstorming, and eventually something comes out of it. And then we go, well, screw it. Let's do it. let's try it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that's what's the beauty for me. Like, I believe, I read the Bible and believe the Bible. And like, as I look at like the body of Christ. And so like, we all have our own gifting that God gave us. And it's like, you guys are saying like hands down, or you're saying right now, it's like that bringing us all together. Like, we rely on each other, and like one's an eye, one's an ear, one's a nose, whatever. And when they all come together though, and we just are like humble enough to realize like, I don't have that gifting, he does, and then we can just run in that and flow in that. It's such a cool thing. So that's awesome that you see that. Lost you there for a minute.
Absolutely.
We lost your video there, Set Gramps.
Gramps.
Oh yeah, that's his nickname. There
He just called you Gramps, dude. I can beat him up. He's really strong, but I'll throw a punch for you, dude. Like, I get it.
That has been my nickname since forever. So
I'm sorry, dude. I didn't know that. So
in the beginning when he's like, "All right, Chris, we're gonna get started," and I just started laughing.
It was awkward for me too.
Yeah. Who's that? So I don't think Lee's ever called me Chris.
No, it's funny. It's really funny looking back on. I've watched that Nikon show or film for so many times.
It's called Visionaries.
Visionaries.
Which is like so kind of like, forward weird that it's like eventually that became the thing and it's called Visionaries. I think it's just weird.
When I signed up for your guys' film school, it was because I saw for one, everybody that told me if you want to get in the outdoor industry, go to Rusted Rooster and the Keefer brothers. They produce the best content. So naturally signed up for the film school, went to their film school. They took a chance on me again, started working with them. The first year I spent I was 60 days in the tree stand with Chris. And I was like, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into? But I remember applauding their production value so much, and then they taught me the true art of filming and storytelling. But then Chris goes and shows me this. I was like, wow, I don't think you could have swung me to come work with you guys if I would have saw if that was the production. Then it's crazy. You talk about the outdoor industry being 10 years behind. It literally is, because at that time, we got to link that video to this, because if you guys want to watch it, it's hilarious. But if you saw that on TV now, you'd be like, well, these guys are idiots. What are they doing?
You saw that today, you'd be like, what are they doing? And it's like our whole family's in it. My wife is the receptionist, my dad is the doctor, everybody's just played a part in it, and we shot it. But back then, no one had ever done anything besides, I would say, rock and roll music and kill shots. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it was there's more to this industry than just that. You can tell stories in a different way and it still be hunting, and it can still move product. Yeah. And I think that was the big thing for us in partnerships is you don't have to be on the nose. And it's even more relevant today, for where, partnerships and manufacturers need to be. You just don't. I mean, building brand is not the same as branding. Yeah. And it's just, people don't really understand that too much.
Awesome. So I got two big questions. Sorry, I don't want to take, but one is, so when Lee over here was at the school, what did you see in Lee that you're like, yes, I'm bringing this guy on a hunt?
Well, actually, somebody else saw it. I just got thrown at you.
Oh, no, I want to hear his side of this.
No, he was physically fit. I knew he could carry my bags and shit, so that was good.
Yeah, this guy can carry my bag and drop.
No, I think so. For me, I think the big thing with Lee is I think we jived right away just in work ethic alone. I think it was when I go, I'm grinding, and when I'm in it, and we're really down to business. And I think I never heard Lee one time ever complain about that once, ever. It didn't matter what day we were leaving, what day we were coming back, what we were doing. It was I'm ready to go. Let's go. And I want to learn. And he was a sponge. And I think that was a big part of it. And the other guys at that same time, they were also very, very good and amazing. But I think just Lee and I lined up from a personality trait just on hey man, we're going to do whatever it takes to get it done. And we're not going to ask any questions. And I admired that. And so for years, him and I spent a lot of time in the woods together. I passed a lot of 150 deer that Lee would just shake his head at and look at me and go I can't believe we're not shooting that or going home. But I was like, nope, we're good. He probably got annoyed with me quite a few times at that stage in his life. I cannot believe you're not shooting that deer. And I'm like, no, not at all. So it was a lot of fun though. And I think, he learned a lot, not just from filming, but also from hunting. And then I learned a lot from him because at some point, you know, he really started to get into the photography side of things. I think that was a big strong suit of Lee as well, as like he was always shooting angles and different things that, and it helped our brand for many, many years. And so, you know, it was a lot of, I was grateful to have him for as long as we did.
Awesome.
So,
all right. So then the second question is, you kind of teased it a little bit earlier about the way that you're moving into the new land of apps and production and getting content out there. You tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, I can, for sure. Real quick, I do want to go back, you know, and just say some of the guys at that time, I think it's so cool to see the progression of everybody from Rock to Lee to AB, you know, AB having his podcast now, and Jameson is another one of our guys, and he has Reckoning Studios and all the stuff. To see everybody move on to such amazing careers is actually super amazing. Like, I am so proud of these guys for what they're doing. Everybody's got businesses now, everybody. And to me, it's like, you know, kind of just like a little notch in the cap, like, man, I'm happy, you know. And I think a lot of people in this industry spend too much time hating on, you know, like, man, he left or he did this. And to me, that's just so ridiculous. Like, people have lives they have to go do. And so to see every one of these guys have success, working with successful people and growing businesses, that's amazing to me, just to see them all go. Like, I'm just proud of all of them for doing what they're doing. It's just so cool. And now we've got kind of the next wave of Lee and Adams and Aaron's and everybody coming in. And it's interesting to see, you know, they're all young, they're 20, and it's a different ball game. You know, they're bringing the Instagram stuff, and now it's not just about shooting, it's about posting. It's about, you know, so it's like this new weird phase that we're in, but it's really cool to see everybody go on and be successful. I think that you have to celebrate that versus kind of be you know, have animosity. I think I see too much of that in the industry. I think you really got to be happy for everybody's success.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of to touch on that too is like, again, I really applaud you guys for being, you know, like, as we'll get into with this next conversation, is like, you guys, you know, you were always seeing like, okay, this is now and cool in the outdoor industry, but what's next? How do we stay relevant? How do we continue to grow? And again, how do we make this a business? And I think, to your point, like, everybody moving on and like doing their thing is because, you know, they saw that business side coming from Rusted Rooster and the Keefer brothers and Jason Brown. Like, you guys were always trying to innovate and grow with the industry. So, you know, I think that's why I look back on the industry as a whole right now. And again, I want to get back to like, it's becoming such a crazy business, because like now to shoot a 200-inch deer, I'll full on come out and say most guys that are shooting 200-inch deer consecutively they're doing it because they're paying for it. Like, it's wild. Now it's like before, like, monster buck era. I mean, I didn't care if that deer was 120 inches or 140 inches or 170 inches. It was all just, I wanted to watch that hunt and I didn't really care. Now it's like, who's producing more 200 inches than anybody else? It's crazy.
Yeah, it is, man. It's amazing. And you staying relevant is not easy at my age too. I mean, like I said, I'm 46 years old, and like, I started out in this industry in my 20s. It was a lot easier, but like, you know, I think we have a good foundation and we're just adding to that foundation, and you have to change with the times, period. You know, back in the day, I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I used to go to the Allegheny Sports Show, and there's a prominent fisherman who I won't name, but he would come to that show and there would be a line out the door, right? And I was one of those people. You fast forward, you know, 3, you know, ATAs ago, or 4 or 5 ATAs ago, right before COVID, you know, I see that same prominent fisherman. He's leaning against the outside of the convention center, smoking a cigarette. People just walking by him. No one had a clue who he was, right? And I was like, I remember looking at Casey and saying, like, let's not ever be that. Let's always try to stay relevant with what's going on. And it's not about the recognition. It was just about like the downfall of people that didn't always evolve. If you're not always evolving, then it just goes away.
Yeah.
It just goes away. And one day you wake up and you're like, it's gone. Like, what just happened? You know, you don't have partners. You don't have a TV show. You're just looking back going like, man, I used to kill a lot of stuff that was fun, but now what do I do? Right. And it's too late in life. So then you're like, oh, I guess I'll, you know, do this instead. So for us, it's about evolving. It always has been about building the business. And I look back, and one of the regrets I have would be not buying, you mentioned land earlier, not buying more land at the time in which we were at the kind of height of all the stuff that was going on. We put so much into the business, and it was an equal trade because we have an incredible kind of opportunity with the business. But I do wish back in the day, we would have actually bought more land instead of leased a lot of the things that we did. And I think that would probably be a different ball game. But instead, we put everything into the business, and that also was an equal trade. So it was good.
Yeah. If you want to go buy that lease in Kansas, I'll lease a part of it from you if you want to go buy that.
Part of it? Yeah. Well, if you do, get my blinds off of it if you can, because there's.
I actually drove by it a couple weeks ago.
That's good.
Yeah,
well, there's about 30 millenniums in the tree. You got them marked. If you grab them, I'll split them with you.
I actually made. Do you remember? Were you with us when we stopped at those two sisters' house? I think we were trying to get turkey permission. We stopped at on their front porch, and so I sent a pin to my buddies who I was hunting in a different area. I'm like, hey, well, like this person's actually gave us permission before, and if they still live there, there's a good chance they might. So I sent them to those ladies. They're still there. They haven't changed.
Wow. That's
it was like the whole, well, I'll give you permission, but you got to have written permission. So my buddy's sitting there like, so do you write me written permission or what? He's like, you got to get written permission. He's like, I'm asking you for permission right now. It was great. Like Chris knows they're a character. Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, they're still there. Kansas is still there. Actually, it was funny going back to that area and like reminiscing on how many years did we hunt that?
Man, probably 5 years.
5 years? Yeah, it was like 4,000 acres. Like awesome.
4,000 acre leads. It was amazing. I mean, it was so much land that it was almost too much for us at some point, to cover. But I mean, it just produced big deer every year, and it became about the chase. And I just loved being on that property.
It was cool.
It
was cool seeing the progression too, because like when you guys, the first year that you guys leased it, it was previously leased by an outfitter. So when you look at an outfitter running a piece of property, they bring in and like they're bringing in, Michigan hunters who see that 130-inch deer. They're not there to manage that property for the future. They're there to manage their self-fulfillment right there. And so like they'd be blowing up that, and it was cool. My favorite part about that is seeing the progression of like passing deer. Again, like I was over Chris's shoulder saying, shoot it. Shoot it. And he's like, no, we're going to hunt him next year. I'm like, no, the neighbor's going to shoot him.
Jeez, Michigan.
Yeah. And so like it went from, the first year, I don't even know if we had any like that big of a deer. All of a sudden the next year Shakes came out, which was like a 3-year-old. What was he, like 170 as a 3-year-old? Yeah, and then
he was up there probably 190 by the time the year we were going to shoot him. He was big.
Yeah, they're passing like I don't care how old he is. Again, this is like 10 years ago. So I was like, I don't care how old he is. He's 170 inches. That will get us a good television show. Let's shoot it. Chris is like, no, we're good. We're gonna hunt this 5-year-old over here that is 110 inches.
Yeah, I was always like, age over score all the time just to manage the property, and eventually they'll get big. And I think that's what we did down there. And man, we produced some big ones by the time we left.
Big
there.
ones,
it was awesome.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think? So right now it's like this 200-inch, like that everybody is chasing a 200-inch deer. Do you think it's going to kind of go back at all, or do you think it's just going to keep going up? Like, what do you think is going on in the on
I don't know, man. It depends on who. I guess it just depends on what makes your thing sing. I mean, at the end of the day, score has never made my hunt. The hunt camp has always made my hunt, and I think the memories and the stuff that we do while we're there and shooting a big deer, and we've been blessed to shoot good deer, like over 150s, 160s, 170s, 180s. Yes, we've killed a 200. Yes, Casey's killed a big buck, and we shot a lot of those big deer over the years. But I don't think score drives us, so I don't really pay attention too much to it when it comes to like, you got a 200. Now, if I did have a 200 on one of our farms, I would become obsessive, no doubt. Like I would be just like I am with a 170. There's no doubt that I would put the time in. But I think what I'm seeing is a lot of people going back to camp itself, just like, leasing with buddies, going to camp, setting up. And this, I mean, this is years and years and years ago. Like when we looked at that property for the first time, we're like, there's no house. And then we were like, oh, well, we have tents. Like
He
we'll
said
do
that.
it.
I was like,
And
oh no.
we set up deer camp.
We
We're
did
like,
dropped.
this is how we do it.
We did dropped in the whitetail woods.
No, rent an RV, Chris. Not just pull one in.
No,
and just
I got tents.
I will say this year I did have a mini Winnie that I got.
Nice.
Well, that's coming with age.
Yeah.
Well, I had Apple TV satellite in my bed every night, but I still was in a trailer. But I think I think that's just what it was about. It was like it was camp, man. It was like we have our scent-free tent, we've got our showers outside, we got everything we need. We're here to kill big deer. But man, when we came back at night, we got that griddle fired up, and we got the fire going, and everybody was sitting around drinking Busch Light and telling stories. Like those are some of the best memories. There are deer that I just don't even remember, but I remember so many stories from camp and how fun it was. So I hope it gets back to that more than about like the big deer. You're always going to have guys that are score chasers, but I can tell you right now, like I just shot a buck, this week. I still haven't put a tape to it. I have no idea what he scores. I'm guessing just because I kind of understand whitetail, he's probably right there at 150, but I don't know. I don't know his actual score. Like it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is he was on the hit list. He was a 5.5-year-old deer, and I chased him for, a couple of weeks and then shot him. And so I'm like, perfect. And we got good pictures, but it was fun. You know what I mean? And it was about opening day of deer season. So, I don't know. Score's never really driven me that much. Now, again, when there's a 200, I'm not going to be the one to sit here and say that I wouldn't become obsessive. I definitely would, because that's my nature, is just to like go after whatever deer it is. But then I hope it doesn't get there. It's sad to me when someone's like immediately scoring a deer on the back of a truck within seconds of shooting this thing and like putting it out there and all that. It's just, I don't know. It takes away a little bit for me personally. That's just my own opinion.
Yeah.
So
respect that.
Yeah.
So how was your guys' season this year?
It was good, man. It was good. I just shot. He was a good buck, and I just hunted him. I had a deer down there. I was calling him Godzilla. He's a big 9 with a drop tine, old buck, and he got shot by the neighbor. And I only knew this because I was sitting in my tree stand and a drone flew over my head in the morning. A thermal drone flew over my head, and was looking, and I was like, oh, he's probably shot that big one. And they located him the night before, and then he got up and walked, and I got him on camera a couple weeks after, so he was fine. But then opening day of gun season, he was not fine, because the guy was sitting right up on the line, and when that gun went off, I almost fell out of the tree because it scared the living daylights out of me. And then the quads and the hoot and the holler, and I'm like, yeah, they got him. So I moved on. I'm hoping, I haven't confirmed it, but I moved on to another one that I had that was on the property. And Casey and I, for the first time ever, shot in the same day. Oh, wow. And I'm talking like when we were kids, we've never done that. And he shot a beautiful 6x6, and I shot a big old 8, and it was like same day within an hour of each other. So we had 2 down on opening day of gun season, and we hunted hard in Missouri. Casey killed one down there. So we've had a good season so far. We got a lot of deer on the ground. Schuster's killed. Other guys on the team have killed. Like we've had JB killed like multiple deer this year with his son, and also, so it's been fun, man. And nothing I would say like, nothing over 170, but all just good, mature whitetail that were on the hit list. So it was a good season.
That's cool. I really respect that you guys are still holding on to the, like everything that I feel like you guys do for one is like a camp setting, but it's all camaraderie, and I think it shows in your guys' production too. Yeah,
it's all story, man. It's all story, because if you don't capture it, I think we'll lose it as an industry. We'll lose if you don't celebrate those times. And you think about the guys that are on TV, and then you think about how many hunters gather in Michigan on opening day that go to camp, and how many of those guys are taking off work for 4 days, and those 4 days are the best 4 days of their whole year, and they're making chili and playing games, and then they're sitting out hoping to kill a 110-inch deer
spike.
We're so lucky to travel around the world and hunt deer for a living and get an opportunity at a 150, a 160, a 170, a booner, all that stuff. I mean, it's just such a blessing, and I don't know if that comes with age or what, but I look back and say, but during that time, man, look at what we did besides killing those deer, like how many people we had in camp. Lee, we've done a lot of writers camps and media stuff. And this year we had a lot of media come into camp, and I met people from all over, and writers and Winchester, and it's just fun, man. That's kind of what we like to tell. We're not known for killing 200-inch whitetail. We're known for living off the grid and just telling a good story and having fun in camp. That's okay with me.
That's awesome, man. And like, I love how you talk about Michigan there, because like Michigan does have that hunting deer camp heritage, you know what I mean? And so it's like, the Orange Army hits the wood November 15th, and like we joke about, like, guys will kill anything. And so it's like, that's what Everland Outdoors is all about. It's like, this is your land. We want to meet you. We want to help you develop and reach your hunting goals. And our goal is that you do get through hunting progression, because you take advantage of your land. You set it up the right way. You're able to grow those deer on there, and then it gets you through hunter progression. So you then do want to shoot, at least hold out for maybe that 3.5-year-old buck. And doesn't matter if it's not, 150 inches in Michigan and all that kind of stuff. But it's just like, and then you'll progress and you'll go down that path, and you can reach those goals. And then the state itself can kind of heal from some of that Orange Army just coming in the onslaught of like, if I don't kill it, my neighbor's going to kill it. And so it's like, just kind of changing that culture. And then I take it back to the Bible again, because it's like renewing your mind and not worrying so much about like what your neighbors are doing. Like, let's control what we can control, because I can't control anybody else. And so like just loving people and saying, hey, if you want to shoot that deer, that's great. I'll give you a high five. That's awesome. If you're excited with it and you're having fun with that, more power to it. God bless you, brother. It's like, I'm done with everybody worrying about what everybody else shoots and having, but it's like, but Everland Outdoors, though, we want to help you achieve your hunting goals and hunting success. Like, that's what we're after. And I've had some clients, some of these homesteaders and stuff like that. They're like, I just want to shoot 6 does every year. And I'm like, dude, I can build you a property. You can shoot 6 donkeys out of your, on your 10-acre piece back here behind your chicken coop. I'm like, we can put a good green plot here, set you a blind right here. You're going to be all set, buddy. And they slam their donkeys, and they are having a great old time, and they think it's so awesome. Mm-hmm. So, but it's fun stuff. It's good.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Control the controllables. The rest is up to God. We'll figure it out from there.
Amen.
Yeah, I want to be respectful of your time, but I do want, for one, I want to actually look back. That's wild that you and Casey have never shot a deer in the same day. Because if you think about it, how many years have you been doing hunting television? Or I guess you've just been a hunter. Like, so you're
20. You've been 20. I think we're getting close to 20 years in outdoor television right now.
And would you say the first 10 to 15, you and Casey were basically from like, you guys were big on like October 20th and on, you guys were in the tree, and most of the time you guys were in the same farm. You've never shot a deer the same day?
No, never. We shot one. We only have one picture of us. It's when I shot Tiny in Illinois, and he shot another buck in muzzleloader season the next day. That's the only time we have a picture of us together with bucks. And so this was the first time for kids. I mean, I'm talking all the way back when him and I just hunted our own farm together back when we were kids. We never shot on the same day. So it's just wild that, and he shot at 3:15 and I shot at 4:15, and it was still a little bit of enough light left to have some fun. And, everybody, and when that pressure's off and you can like talk out loud like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so even in bow season, when you shoot one, it's like, we're going to sneak in, we're going to get this deer out of here, and then we got to roll. But like when everybody's done hunting the property, it was like, we were like, hey, what's going on? Everybody was so excited. We pulled the Rangers up, got the lights, grabbed the stuff. We're like, yeah, I mean, we're down on the property. So, and you know how special that Ohio farm is, Lee. And it's always been, it's just a special place. And Jared just killed a monster down there last night, just a phenomenal deer. So as he always does. And so, yeah, man, it was cool for us to do that. And then the next day, not super huge on grip and grins. It's more, you've been there with me in the field. It's more about just kind of paying homage to the deer. But it was really cool for Casey and I to to have a picture of 2 bucks that we shot the same day in the back of the tracker, and him and I just kind of stand there reflecting about it. To me, was all I wanted, right? It's just a cool picture like that. So that'll be the memory that goes up in the barn. So it's pretty cool.
And that's funny you say that, but I remember when I first started working with you guys, it was always like, you had to get the grip and grin. You had to put the sponsor, whatever sponsor, like get like 55 different grip and grins with the sponsor little product in front of it. I was like, dude, let's just take a photo for a second. Like, that'd be cool. Like, it's just like hold your deer and like look at it. And Chris is like, okay. And I remember like one of your favorite ones is like you were actually celebrating. I just happened to click the shutter at the time. And like it's when it was, I think it was Kansas, you're holding your bow up and you were screaming because like we grinded that year for a deer. And
Bubba
Bubba Booey. Yeah. Yeah, great. Yeah. So I'm gonna end this with one story. Probably in being in the outdoor industry, right now, this is what's coming to my head. You and I are in Missouri hunting with Steven Stockman, and we're in this guy's basement, and we kept looking at the weather. And like, man, like there was a tornado warning coming, and so
yes, that'll happen.
Yeah, but we're like looking at it, and we're like, I think it's gonna miss us. And like it was probably like 3:00, time to like get going out into the woods. And we looked outside and we're like, it's beautiful. Like when you ask for like a high pressure day, like the day to kill a buck, and it was like the rut's kicking off. We're like, we need to get in the woods. So Chris and I go out in the woods, and we go up to we got to the tree stand again. It's still beautiful. And the way the tree stands are set up, I always climb up first because my tree stand's above Chris's. So he's like, and we pause there a second. And he's like, I remember you looking at me and saying, we're good, right? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And so I'm 3/4 of the way up the tree, and Chris goes, Lee, listen. And we're like, we're sitting there, and all of a sudden it sounds like literally a train is coming through the woods. And Chris is like, what is that? I'm like, I don't know, but like we're committed. Let's do this. And so like I start climbing a couple more steps. All of a sudden, like it just starts absolutely downpouring. Like the wind. I mean, it was literally just like the front. I've never seen such a front come through the woods so fast. Next thing you know, Chris is like, get down. I'm coming down. And there's a trail camera picture of us running through the woods. I'm like trying to cover the camera from because I mean, it's absolute downpour. Casey was parked down the road trying to get a hold of us. He's like calling you saying there's a tornado on top of you guys, get out. And so we're just running through the woods, getting out. We get back to the truck and Casey rolls up on us. He's like, what are you guys doing? And we're like, we thought we were good. And then Casey, we thought we were good. And then literally we can't go hunting right now. Like the camera's probably ruined, which it was. And we went back and dried our stuff. Casey sat in the truck for like 10 more minutes. The front went past. He climbed the tree stand and killed a deer. We're just like,
the same site you were going in?
No.
Close. As soon as it went by, Casey was sitting and he just let the tornado go through. And after the tornado, he went in the stand where we went early and got in the street stand and got caught in the tornado. And I mean, it was a legit tornado. Like when
top of us
up the tree, I was like, come on up. And then I was like, go down. Like that's how fast it came. And when I got to the bottom of the tree, I took off and I still was attached to the lifeline.
Yes.
So I was not even thinking. Yeah. Like I grabbed it, I took off running and was like, whoa, I went backwards and I had to
the tornado sucking me in.
And it turns out it was so beautiful because Lee and I were in the eye of the storm and we were like, man, this is so calm and beautiful.
Like
it was
crazy. Like you can literally hear like, I mean, the birds were chirping. Like it was just gorgeous. All of a sudden it just went like dead quiet. And then like Chris and I like looked at each other. And that's when the freight train started coming through.
Dude.
We heard this. I'll never forget that sound. It was this whistle loud, like, and we're like, and then all of a sudden, man, it hit the woods, and wow, did we take off running through the woods? And we were soaked. Camera was ruined, and those guys went out. And they called us like 2 hours later. They're like, deer down. We're like, oh. Of course.
But literally, like, so again, Chris and I's personality is the same. It's like we need to go hunting. Like, we're not going to kill a deer if we don't go hunting. And Casey's personality is like, sit back when the time's right. I'll go kill a deer. And like, not me and Chris's personality. Like, we need to go. We need to be in the woods. And so like, we're like, this storm's going to miss us. Yeah, that's funny.
That's awesome.
No. In that case, Casey was gas and glass. He was sitting on the hill taking his time, and it was the right decision. He's like, oh, there's the tornado. I'll wait for that to go through. And he's like, oh, Chris is in the middle of it. Shocker. And then we came out. And he went right and got in there. So, that was a fun time down there.
It was.
So,
I got one more. One more undropped. We're in New Zealand. I don't even remember what day this was. We're getting really hungry. The whole time we thought that we were going to be fishing this river and catching like this beautiful trout and eating trout every night. Nope, we weren't seeing stags. We weren't seeing anything. So we're like hungry. And then Chris and I hike up this mountain and we saw, again, I've never felt like this in my entire hunting career of like, we're sitting there, all of a sudden here, meh. I'm like,
Yeah.
what was that? Chris is like, he grabs his binoculars, he's looking, he's like, there's goats. I'm like goats? And he's like, yeah, let's go get one. Cause like there's in New Zealand, there's feral goats like all over the place. And this is the first time that we ran into them. I'm like, okay, cool, meat, man. So Chris has his bow. We go on this stalk. We're getting pretty close to the herd of goats. And we're glassing and looking at him. Like I'm filming them and like there's all these nannies and stuff going past us. But then Chris sees this one. I mean, it was like it was probably a Boone and Crockett feral goat. Yeah. It had like big swirls, like these sweet horns. And Chris is like, we're going to kill that one. I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, let's kill the biggest goat there is. So we do the stalk, and the whole time, like literally it felt like you were in a zoo. Cause like, there's just goats walking past you going, meh. And you're like, we're hunting this right now, but like we're hungry. And so we get close. You shoot the billy. We're all excited. We bring it back to camp. We start cooking it. Like it was annoying because again, it's all about the production. It's all about the storytelling. So like we finally have red meat. We want to eat the red meat, but we can't because we got to do all this filming. And so they finally get a fire going, and a fire takes 20 minutes to get a fire going because you have to film the whole thing. So they start cooking the meat, and finally, like I remember, like Chris is like, it's got to be done. And so he peels it off the stick over the fire. And he starts eating, and I'm looking at it and thinking like, dude, I'm so hungry. Please end this scene so I can put this camera down and eat. And he's eating this goat, and he's like, he's chewing it. And like, I got my headphones on cause up to your mic, and I can just hear I'm like, man, this actually like, now I'm starting like my stomach, I don't know, like it's me, it's gotta be good. And Casey grabs a bite and he's starting chewing it. Austin Casey just starts vomiting. So we shot the oldest, most mature
nastiest goat.
It was the worst tasting thing I've ever in my life. I mean, and of course we just got into the mode of hunting. We want to go after the biggest, maturest. Like, let's go after this sweet Billy.
Yeah.
I think you carried him around for a couple of days, and finally we're like, dude, we cannot carry this goat around anymore. You cannot get this mounted. We cannot carry this cape anymore. It stunk so bad.
It's so bad. It was so bad. And again, before I left, when hunting, Casey's like, just don't shoot an old Billy. And I was like, I shot an old Billy and brought it back. And sure enough, man, it was the worst thing. I think to this day, anytime Casey and I do stuff, we go to like meet and greets or things of that nature, the goat comes up as probably one of the number one things in drop that people remember is us vomiting in New Zealand over the, and it was, I can't eat goat or lamb to this day because of that.
We'll never again.
And this year we were on drop, and a little inside story. It was kind of funny. We were in drop, and we took, we worked with the company this year to create some freeze dried stuff for us that was like very healthy, calorie driven, not stuff that's in a current bag, but like, we worked with them on specific meals with calories and what we could do and how we could space it out. And Casey, so it was about 2 days. I hadn't had anything, and he was like, all right, it's time to have one of these, these meals. And he pulls out and he's like, I'll make it. And he pulls a prank on me. And let's just say that he had to make one with goat and didn't tell me.
Mean.
Wow.
First bite, you can imagine what happens in there, but it's a lot of fun. And he pulls it off, and then he actually had another one ready to have.
Good for Casey.
He's like, I had to do it. So it was a lot of fun. But the goat was, oh my God, it was the worst.
Yeah.
Is that a little teaser in the corner there from Drop 2?
Which one?
I see a little antler right next to the bows.
Oh, over here.
Yeah.
So I didn't see you can see that. Yeah, that's a little teaser over there for sure. Yeah, little something over there.
Oh so, yeah. Okay. So you guys ate more than goat then on Drop this time.
We did, yes. Good. And we had our favorite. We had red meat, good red meat this year, so it was a lot of fun.
Sweet. So last little bit, like where if people are interested in the Keefer Brothers, all the content you guys are putting out, where they watch you at?
Yeah, so I think our biggest thing right now and our big push is go to KeeferBrothers.com. That's where you can go and yeah, we started kind of a subscription network service in the back end where you can download the companion app. And what's really cool is inside the app we have a community portion in there. So if you're a part of the app, you can kind of connect with other like-minded hunters. We started kind of like a rut report chat in there, and we were getting intel from all over the US of different people that were dropping in and saying like, hey, this is what's happening, I shot this buck, or I saw this on scrapes, and so we're trying to create a community of like-minded hunters in there. And then we also have education, so we're doing kind of the master class side of things. We did a 7-hour, like 7 different modules around if you want to go DIY Alaska. We've done it like 11 times. So it's about a step-by-step process on, if you want to go on a DIY hunt, watch this from module 1 to module 7, fill out you can download like digital products that allow you to kind of set your goals for it along the way and all that. So we started kind of adding those things in. A lot of gear reviews. We call it hard on shit because we're hard on shit. So we're always breaking stuff left and right. We put it to the test. So we go through and do a ton of reviews, and then we're launching kind of in real time the season, which is kind of where we are now. Is it's in real time. Within 2 weeks, we've got the episode up and ready to go, and so we're pumping those out all the time. And then just films, like we'll get kind of a hankering to do a film on something, whether we go on a waterfowl hunt. We went this year, took the kids to Manitoba and did a fishing trip for the first time, and did an amazing experience with the kids there, did a film on it. So we're launching films, we're launching series, a lot of educational content. And then we also have mindset content for business and just in life in general, the stuff that we've been through building businesses in this industry. We call it the second mountain. The first mountain is about survival. The second mountain is about transformation. And we're kind of on that second mountain as a whole, as an industry and what's happening. And so every week we do a vlog series just on what's relevant in our lives, what's happening. So, and then discounts on all the things. So it's a cool spot. It's different for the industry right now. And it's something that we're growing. And, we've got kind of like a trial period. You can sign up for the 30-day trial and check it out. And then, hopefully you get enough content and find it useful that you become a yearly member. But that's definitely where we're at right now on KeeferBrothers.com. You can check that out and then download the app. And then in February, we're on the Outdoor Channel. Dropped is coming back, and we're happy to say that we've already renewed for another season of Drop. So We'll be doing one more this year.
You always say one more.
I always say it. I know. And I've said it before. I'm not doing another one.
You said it when I was there.
Yeah, we took a break, man. We took a break. I think, Drop became commercialized for us for a long time. It started to get out from what we originally started as when we did it, and it just didn't feel right. And we were able to work with the Outdoor Channel and get creative control on what we think was the best series for us about two brothers just doing it in Alaska, and no more games or reality type show stuff, and that was important for us. So they've been awesome to work with, and we're going to do another one next year. So we got plans in the works, but it was fun, man. We did it this year. It was a lot. I think it's a testament to just kind of, again, mindset of just pushing forward. We have a very integral part this year where you have a choice. The choice is, be comfortable or be uncomfortable. And, we make a choice that makes it very uncomfortable, but it was at the end, the reward is pretty amazing. So it's pretty cool. So it's going to be a fun series this year. I think we're doing 10 episodes this year.
Oh, sweet. Cool. In Alaska?
Yeah, in Alaska, in the Brooks. Oh. So that'll be out in February. And then, I think, again, we look at it from business models all the time. We're doing this for us, but we're also, there's a lot of producers that have contacted us that are like, how what are you doing? What do you want to build? Like, how can you build it for us too? And so we're helping, a lot of other producers. And of course, Rusted Rooster does so much work for manufacturers and other people that need good marketing and just authenticity. I think that word gets thrown around a lot in the marketing world, but when you live it, it's really truly authentic. So that's kind of where we're at, man. It's exciting times.
It is exciting times. Well, cool. You're done hunting, whitetail hunting this year? You're all done?
Yeah, you got the holiday thing, and my daughter's in college and she's coming home, and I'm like, I just want to But at the same time, I do have a Missouri muzzleloader tag. If I truly wanted to drive 10 hours down there, there's a possibility, but I don't know. This goes back to family over what that is. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I'm just glad she's coming home.
Sweet.
So we'll see where it goes.
Cool.
Love it, man. Well, cool, man. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, Chris.
Absolutely. Yeah, appreciate it, fellas.
Yeah, it's really nice to get to know you, man.
Yep.